Hey everybody, what's going on? I am Jamie Dawn, your evolutionary revolutionary astrologer, bringing you your celestial wisdom for the week of September 18th through the 24th of 2023. And a big shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting. This is how the channel grows, and I can continue to provide information to you. Also, just a little bit on the map, as some of you may know, I'm also an intuitive advisor at 12Listen. So if you want to connect with me there and I'm available, would love to have you pop over and check them out. And just know there's some other great advisors there as well. And one more little announcement. I shouldn't say little, well, sort of, just depends on how you look at it. My son and daughter-in-law are expecting my first grandchild, and he's due any day now. So I'm super excited about that. I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But I will be going back east in the next couple of weeks to meet him and to support them and, of course, love on them. So anyways, had to get that little bit in there. Still a little strange. It's hard for me to fathom being a grandma. I'm just not there. Anyways, but I think we'll see what the baby decides, but as of right now, I'll be called grandmummy, which I like. So, because it has it carries grandmummy, right? So I use, anyways. All right, I digress. You want to know what kind of energy is coming up for this week. Thanks for the feedback on the last week's video, as well as others. And so I'm going to give the pins on the map astrologically, but also continue to point to the energy that we're working with. So we have the sun in the last degrees of Virgo this week, making an aspect, an opposition to Neptune, and also a trine to Pluto. So there's a little bit of that energy that we're going to talk about. We've got Mercury is direct now. It went direct on Friday, but it's still in shadow. It takes about 10 days for it to get out of shadow, but it is direct in its home sign of Virgo. So it's slowly waking up. We should start to see some progress. And then we have our fall equinox when the sun ingresses into Libra, and everything is all about balance and harmony and relationships, right? How we relate both personally and professionally takes on a big emphasis. Plus, we have eclipse season upon us in the next couple of months. Well, 18 months now that the South and North nodes have changed signs. North node Aries, South node Libra. So we have new moons and full moons in Aries Libra that give us the eclipse energy here. So big stuff to talk about. Let's start with Monday when the sun is opposing Neptune, and it will oppose Neptune Monday, Tuesday, while Venus is moving out of her square with Jupiter, and Mars then also makes a quincunx, which I love that word, in conjunct. It makes a 150-degree aspect to Jupiter. And so Monday and Tuesday can have this feeling of creativity where it's very expansive and we're wanting to take our dreams and put them into reality, even though I will tell you, I've had some wacky dreams over the last couple of weeks, in particular last week. And there's some things in there I do not want to make a reality. But as we know, dreams can be so fertile for archetypes, for working through things, for revealing maybe the levels that we're at. You can get lucid in your dream and you can bring out great healing, or maybe there's a golden shadow that you didn't know you had. So it's a really great time for that. So I would say also, Monday, Tuesday, if those of you who practice lucid dreaming, make a date to do some lucid dreaming those 2 days. I think it's going to be really fertile for that. And there also could be a little bit of confusion with that quincunx of Mars and Jupiter. That gives us an opportunity to ask questions before making assumptions. So just watch that. Very often we might get triggered, which is human. There's nothing wrong with being triggered. But the minute we start going into the narrative, the assumption of like, oh, well, they must have meant this, or they must have meant that, or they don't do this, or they don't do that. Ask the questions. What's happening? Something's changed, right? We're looking at what is working in relationships, what's not working in our relationships, in our lives, relationship to all things, whether it's our relationship to money, relationship to another individual, relationships. Yeah. Also, this week has a really big push with that Sun in Virgo trining Pluto in Capricorn to launch something. That happens Wednesday, where now that Mercury is direct, we're ready to push something that we've been working on behind the scenes, ready to get it out the door. We want people to see it. I would say use this week as a soft launch, right? So if there's an idea, project, if there's something that you have been working on, let it maybe do a beta test, keep it a small group, that sort of thing. Maybe even push off the launch if you feel like you need to, because you don't have all the moving parts in place yet, because quality is important. That's going to be up for us this week too. We really want the quality time spent, quality in the work we do, quality in our relationships. How do we show up fully? How do we become fully present? I often talk to people about how they want to expand, they want to be better, they want to do all these things, and yet they're filling up their calendar, their lives with so much stuff they can't be fully present. So we rob ourselves from the pleasure of the moment. We rob ourselves and the other person that we're trying to have better relationship with from that full presence. So that's something we're going to be looking at this week. But I will also say that as the week continues, there's a lot of powerful energy that can come up, allowing us to explore deeper ways of manifesting what we want. Again, going back to, why do I want this? Nothing wrong with desire. Watch out for obsession. That's another thing with Pluto involved here. A trine is a positive aspect, but it also can make things very easy. And when you've got, say, Sun in Virgo trining Pluto in Capricorn, if we're trying to push our dreams into reality, we might get so obsessed about it that we step on people to get to it. We ignore the advice that is probably worth listening to. There's a lot of things that can happen that we're not paying attention to because we're so obsessed. I mean, it's just like, it's easy for us to latch onto it like a pit bull and not let it go. At the same time, the trines can create harmony and give us that inner power, that inner truth to be able to get certain things done. So we also have Venus is going to trine Chiron on the 22nd, right before the sun ingresses into Libra. And with that trine, our egos may be recovering from some things we didn't get, or maybe our egos got a little bruised, especially if we were obsessed over, I have to have this manifest. And if it doesn't manifest, then, something's wrong with me or something's wrong with you, whatever, somebody's pushing back on me. So this Venus trine Chiron can bring some of that up, but we can also find ways to heal, have some courageous conversations. And when I talk about courageous conversations, it's really about seeking to understand. It's about being able to say, to own our shit, right? To be able to say, yep, that was me. I dropped the ball. I was I didn't say something a certain way that I should have, or, yep, I got too forceful, whatever it might be. There's some of that to it. And in these courageous conversations, it's really asking some questions too, but continuing to speak about what's happening inside of ourselves, and to be able to say, when we had that misunderstanding, or I know I got pushy the other day, or maybe a little too forceful, and that probably didn't feel very good to you. So how do we come back to the same page? I want to understand, and I want us to feel good in this relationship we have with each other. Also asking those courageous questions, right? So why do I want this? So why is this important for both of us? That sort of thing. Now, the sun ingresses into Libra on the 23rd. This is our fall equinox. This is when there's harmony and balance between the light and the dark. And we actually now switch from long summer days here in the Northern Hemisphere, and the days start getting shorter as we go into autumn and into winter. And one of the things that I love so much about the sun in Libra is that it really energizes us to find balance or harmony. It energizes us to create more peace in the world, to create peace within ourselves. We talk about change, right? Well, we know change starts with us. So with the sun in Libra, we're really looking for ways in which we can have more pleasure, pleasing, I guess is the word I'm really looking for, where things are more pleasing to us. I think of Rumi, who said, beauty opens the heart. That's what we're doing. Sun in Libra is opening the heart through beauty. And the beauty way in the Native American tradition, the beauty way is what they invest in. Because when we have our hearts open and we invite that beauty in, then we are more engaged with each other. We're more open to receive what another person offers to us. We also tend to give people a benefit of the doubt, recognizing we're all human. We're all going to make mistakes, and we don't hold it against each other. The shadow side of the Sun in Libra is we could be too people pleasing. We compromise too much. So it's going to be important that as we navigate the energy of Libra time for the next 28 and a half days, that we offer good, healthy boundaries. That's part of what we've been working with when the Sun was in Virgo, when Mercury was retrograde, Venus was retrograde in Leo. These retrograding planets, especially personal ones, take us internal and say, hey, where do we need to look at the boundaries and reset them? Yeah, let's redo them. With Venus and Leo, Venus rules relationships, right? She's one of our planets that is associated with relationships. And she's been inviting us to say, where do I need to follow my heart? Have I compromised too much of what my heart's desire is in order to be in this relationship? I need to reset things. So all that to say, Sun in Libra is going to offer that more intensely now, especially as I mentioned, we're going to start having eclipses in Libra, South Node, and North Node Aries. And so it's going to bring in opportunities from our past, some not the exact same scenario, but themes from our relationships. Me versus you. How can I be in a relationship and still be independent, still have my own way of doing things and honoring that? You know, I think about the evolution of my own relationships personally and professionally, but being able to really meet each person as they are, not trying to change them. We talk about that all the time, but really, if someone reacts a certain way, we're constantly going, well, you shouldn't do that. That's how they react. I'm not going to try and change the reaction. I'm going to look inside of myself and say, is there a boundary that's being crossed that I need to address? Number one. Number two, what do I need to do in order to take care of me if for some reason it knocked me off center, right? Because that's the only thing I can control is myself. So again, we're going to be looking at meeting people where they're at. Where do we need to maybe compromise a little bit, or have we compromised too much and we need to reclaim our boundaries? So those are some of the themes we'll be looking at over the next couple of weeks. And as I pointed to, these eclipses, which I'll talk to more as they become closer, but we're already going to start feeling the energy. Eclipses eclipse things out. So this is where what no longer serves us, we've been working with the Virgo energy, what's useful, what's not. When we look at this now through the lens of relationship, we're going to say, okay, this does not serve me in this relationship. How do I want to do it differently? Doesn't mean the relationship has to end. Okay. This is all subjective based on where we are in our lives. It might be that some of us, and this really depends on where it's affecting us, what areas in our chart, some of us may be moving, right? We're leaving one location and we're going to another. Yeah, we had a relationship with that land, that space that we lived in. Now that is changing to another space, right? Could be something that simple. So these are just little pins on the map, but eclipses, once we make these decisions, they tend to be final. And so think about things, ponder things, take time to really trust your intuition. Remember, the body doesn't lie. Really check in that as we are navigating these next couple of weeks and making major decisions, most likely these decisions are going to be pretty permanent. I do believe that we can always change our minds, but for the most part, they'll be pretty permanent. All right, you guys, I hope this helps. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Come find me at jamiedawn.com. I really look forward to connecting with you. Please schedule sessions with me. That really does help because I am pretty booked and I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to work with you. You guys light up my life. You open my heart because you're beautiful. All right, you guys, take care.